What we find at the Center of Hope is that there is no cookie cutter reason why a family or an individual lands there looking for shelter. Life happens, and it happens to me, it happens to you, it happens to everybody. And so when they come through our doors, we already know, and we're there to help. A lot of the things that we see is that they did not choose to be homeless. Some of these choices were not made by them. Some of them were completely out of their control. Those are not things that people choose. We don't choose to lose our job. We don't choose to lose a loved one. There's just a variety of reasons why people end up at the Center of Hope.
Back in September 2014, I lost my job, and then within a week my wife lost her job. So it really rolled downhill from there. Everything started piling up. We lost our house. We went and stayed with mutual friends of ours. My wife and I plus 4 children just wasn't gonna work. We were sleeping in the living room. So we were looking for options. We didn't want to sleep in our car because it was cold. It was below 32 degrees. It's not a safe thing to do. So finally we found the Salvation Army. We stayed at the Salvation Army the very first night. I had heard that the Salvation Army had a supporting housing program, but I had no clue what it really was. So we got an application for that, and I filled it out the same day, and I turned it in. And then on December 5th, which was literally the next Friday, we were in on our anniversary on December 5th. In the 5 years of my wife and I being married, this was the biggest hit on our relationship, our marriage, our family. There's nothing that can be put into words that shows how happy, how grateful I am for the Salvation Army. It was a blessing to know that my kids were gonna have a Christmas when I wasn't gonna be able to provide them one. Someone like this organization, something like this organization stepped in, saw a need, and fulfilled it. It's always been a passion of mine to cook. I want to be a chef. I want to have my own restaurant. They gave me an opportunity to get back into the workforce. Let me become a breakfast cook. They gave me an opportunity to provide for my family again, to feel like the head of the household, to feel that importance again. The Salvation Army has given me hope for the future.
We build relationships with, whether they're an individual or a family, but with the families, especially with families like the Austin family, who have such a positive spirit about them. What you will hear anytime you talk to a Salvation Army employee is that we have a holistic approach to meeting the needs of our clients. We want them to be prepared in every way before they are housed when it comes to our shelter and our programs at the shelter. We want to make sure that they're okay emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, so that they have more stability when they do move out on their own. I think that adds to the level of successes that our families and singles have once they've moved out, is that they've got their footing and they've got a stability that you may not find in another program.
We left the Salvation Army. We were able to get housing, and my wife started working, and then I started working even more. I got a different job. The feeling when we got back on our feet was, it was like astronomical. It was just such a blessing to be able to walk into your own door, put a key in the bad boy and turn it, and just walk in and be like, hey, I get to sit on my own couch. I get to wrestle around my own living room with my kids. Missing cutting grass was like, really? But then when you got to do it again, it was like, hey, this feels good. I get to take care of something that makes you feel a sense of pride to say, hey, this is yours. It's your responsibility to keep it up. It's your responsibility to make it look good. But then in March 2017, my wife was laid off from a job. But I was still working full time. I still had enough income to make sure the bills were paid. And then in July, in 2017, unfortunately, I became sick. I got diagnosed with diabetes, and I was in the hospital for 2.5 weeks. Life hit us really hard. We completely went through our savings and lost our house, and We're living in a hotel for 5 months. We found ourselves back in the Salvation Army. I contacted Kelly.
And he said, if we needed to come back to the shelter, is that possible? And I said, absolutely. You know, our motto is doing the most good. And we don't do the most good just one time or just 2 times. We do it as many times as we need. So I said, absolutely, come on home. So when they call and they need to come back, why would we say no? They didn't come back on square one either. They aren't even close to square one. They still have made a lot of progress. They just had a setback, but they made the choice to come back because they know that we are that safe haven for them and that we're going to be there for them.
I am now a manager at Andolini's Pizzeria. I'm a kitchen manager there. I run the busiest kitchen in the company. My wife's in school for human health services, so she's focusing on school for that, and then I'm just running the kitchen like I've always wanted to do. Things now at the Center of Hope are 150 times better than what we were when we first came into this situation. So it was the choices that we made this time versus the last time that I have a better situation. I think the importance of the Center of Hope is essential for the city of Tulsa. You know, when you have families like mine that are big, that unfortunately things happen that we can't control, to have a place that you can come to and not feel harassed, not feel belittled, but instead you feel encouraged and you feel lifted up and you feel like there's a better day coming. Not only I don't have stress on my shoulders, but it's giving me the opportunity to save money, get back on my feet so I can provide for my family in the correct way that needs to be provided for. For the Center of Hope to empower me, it gives me a chance to empower my family. The little things that the Center of Hope did for us are still affecting us today. I'm beyond grateful. Really, Kelly and the Salvation Army saved my marriage and saved my family. There are really no words that I could express how grateful I was for the Center of Hope.